This is the regular Fresh Waterways Advisory Board meeting, Monday, August 4th, 2025. Time is 2 p.m. The meeting is being held at the Ocean Shores Library. Roll call. Connie.
Here.
James.
Here.
Jeff. Jeff sent a message that he's going to be out. He's not feeling well again. Janet.
Here.
Jay.
Here.
Jim.
Here.
And I'm here. So we need a motion to excuse Jeff Owen from the meeting.
I'll make a motion to excuse Jeff.
Okay.
Second it.
All in favor? Okay. I'm gonna make a motion to amend the meeting agenda. We're gonna add under old business, discussion of the carp and the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife that we had a discussion with, and that's gonna be with James. So I need a motion to amend it to include the carp and fish and wildlife.
I make a motion to append it to include the carp and fish and wildlife.
Any second?
I'll second it.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and that. And so we need a motion to approve the meeting agenda.
As amended.
Amended, the amended as amended. Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended. I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We need to approve the minutes from the last meeting. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the July 7th meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes. Whose turn is it? Yeah, whose turn is it from the July meeting?
James seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the Freshwater Ways Advisory Board meeting welcomes public participation in its meetings. Meetings of the public may provide comments in the following ways. Written comments. They must be submitted no later than 1 p.m. of the day of the meeting. All comments received by the deadline will be shared by the board and included in part of the meeting. Do we have any written comments?
No.
No written comments. In-person comments. Members of the public may attend the meeting in person and provide comments during the designated public comment period. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes to ensure the participants have an opportunity to speak. Please keep public comments related to the fresh waterways. Okay, do we have any public comment? Online? We'll do online first. Having comments? Nope. How about in the room? Anybody want to have any comments about the meetings? What we're doing? Yes.
I've had several people, I'm on the Grand Canal, my name is Donnie Bacon.
Okay.
And I've had several people that live there have been asking about what's going to be done with the penny ones, because they seem to be trying to merge and close off.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's gonna come up in a little bit later in our meeting.
Okay.
So I think Becky has a report on that.
I'm sorry, what did you say your name was?
N-A-N-I. And Bacon, like Kevin Bacon, but I don't have his money.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Old business then. We'll start off with James with the discussion on the carp and meeting with the Department of Fish and Wildlife.
All right. So Dave, Connie, and I met with the Department of Fish and Wildlife, and they were talking to us about what our goal as a community wants to be. Like, what do we want the water to look like? Do we want it to be soupy? Do we want, to be a fishery? And so they, as we were talking with them, they were giving us an example of a lake that they had just gone and sprayed the Elodia. That's not the pennywort. That's the Ferny one. And that was Crest Lake. They had just sprayed it and for that specific targeted spray. And they said that it worked really, really well in their lake. And it's that lake they've been managing and it's turning into a really great fishery. And they actually sent some bass fish and stuff in there. But we had a really good conversation with them. They were the gentleman we talked to is Ken Behen, I think, Behen. But his first line of business was for us to decide like what we want to do as far as the carp. Do we want to make a motion to have city council ask to have the ordinance changed to be able to hunt the carp? And then he said that was pretty much the first thing we needed to do after we decided like what we wanted the water to look like. So I don't know.
Can I make a comment on that though?
Yeah.
according to the municipal code, it's very vague. And actually, I was meeting with the police department and their interpretation of the municipal code is that we can hunt carp in the code, the way it's written. And Sergeant Fody and Sergeant Barrera stated that what they can do with the municipal code is they can go to the chief, who can go directly to the mayor and say, this needs to be. And they were gonna do that also.
That's go to council to see,
Huh?
there is a third step, it doesn't go to council.
Yeah.
So he was just saying that the way it's written right now is that you can hunt carp. And he said, there's people that have been out there, they said, can I hunt? And he said, sure, I'm not gonna stop you.
It actually isn't, in the code, it actually is specific and says you cannot, it's prohibited to hunt.
And I would ask our city attorney to look at that before.
It's very vague if they look at that. So
Right.
I think we need someone to really look at it.
So I would have, what I would do is, take that language to the city attorney. I can do that. If you
Okay.
could, and see, what we would need. And you're talking about, when you're talking about hunting, you're talking about just bow hunting for the carp.
Well, we want to omit, so back in the day when the city voted to change the ordinance, they just put in a line, right in where we could hunt, like bird hunt and things like that.
Right.
Goes around that, and they just stuck a sentence in there that,
Do you have the section of the city code?
I do. yeah, it is, the code. It's 8.20.010, and then it is, there's also a 996, ordinance number 996. But the chapter
Is 820,
8.20.010.
All right, I'll send that language to the attorney. So she-
Yeah, when I first read it, I interpreted it in such a way too that it's words that you could hunt it.
Yeah.
But then when you read into the code, like when the city actually voted for it to change, they actually were very specific in putting in that it is prohibited to bow hunt the carp. And that's what Fish and Game is saying, that we should try to get that.
And if we change that, the city changed that language.
We did.
Is there any reluctance from Fish and Wildlife to let that move forward?
I'm sorry?
So if Fish and Wildlife is good with that, if we change it, they're not gonna say you can't do that?
Fish and Wildlife actually said to us when we were talking to them that the city out of its jurisdiction to be able to make that ruling, like if somebody got caught bow hunting and were ticketed because it's their jurisdiction, the lake, and what did he say?
It wouldn't hold up in court.
He said that they're not the legal authority. That city is not the legal authority over the lake.
Okay, well, that's an important thing, because then it doesn't matter what code we make, right?
Well, it's a municipal code, so you could be fined for it and ticketed, right? Because you're doing it in the city. But if you took it to court and fought it, they're pretty confident that you would win.
I get that. Would they be inclined as good neighbors to let us change this and for them to give us?
That's their recommendation.
Big time.
Their recommendation is to take that out of the city. ordinance.
Okay, all right. I just would like something from them in writing that says that, if we're gonna move forward.
Okay.
So, that's all.
I will have him, I will
And-
forward you an email.
Yeah, that'd be
Also during the meeting, we talked about one of the things that we'd mentioned previously about having like a carp derby.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a group in Moses Lake that has carp derbies.
Yeah.
Right.
And they said, he would give us the information, we can contact them and see if they would help set up a carp derby out here.
Sure.
Kind of handle it.
I mean, it is very strange that you can have the distinction between fishing and hunting is, I guess, somewhat blurred. If you're allowed to fish for carp, it seems only natural, you get the same process, you can hunt them with a bow, but I don't know if bows were banned because they were afraid of safety reasons or any other number of things.
Yeah.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
The legal definition of fishing.
Bow fishing, okay.
Bow fishing. So even the ordinance right now is legally not even, it says bow hunting, but you're not hunting fish, you're fishing for fish. So the wording in it is not really.
Yeah, no, it's a very strange distinction.
Something else during this whole conversation, this whole Zoom call that we had, they really want to help us.
They do.
I mean, they are dying to help us, but because we told them, I guess, several years ago, no, they have not stepped in to do anything. And they want to come to the meetings. You know, they want to, do a lot of things to help us. They even talked about, grants. I mean, it was a crazy conversation, but I left feeling amazing.
Yeah,
There were actually three of them, and I forget.
three of them, three of
Well,
them.
maybe we invite them to this next meeting then.
They're gonna come in September.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really want to be here.
September meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Cancel.
We can
Well,
contact them.
isn't
They can
it-
come-
Oh, there's- Am I gonna
It's
hate
not
you?
Labor Day.
Oh, that's
Labor Day.
fine. We'll do
So
it.
that.
We'll do it in October then.
Well, isn't it just moved though in September?
No.
No.
Oh, it's canceled altogether? Okay.
Anyway, that was exciting to hear how much they wanted to help us.
Yeah, we talked about like what we would do with the car, like after he gave us some great things, you know, he said there's rendering plants. You could even like sell it to the zoos or rendering plants and stuff. And one of the other cities actually did that with a car tournament. They sold it to the rendering plant. And they got like, I can't remember how many they got, but they got $5 a pound.
Okay.
So,
Well, I wonder if you could give that to the First Waterways Corporation or somehow they could sponsor it. Then that
Yeah.
would be.
We can
right. Yeah. So, a couple other things they talked about was the DNA testing. They were saying that triploid, they're learning with the triploid carp that over time, nature finds a way, and they're not really convinced that they're triploid. One thing they did talk about though, they gave me a deck with a bunch of slides on it, and it shows the fish dropping off, the fish population from bass and,
Mhm.
you know, and then how the perch have really gone up, but because there's no habitat for the perch and they're not even native fish to the lake, they were bucket planted as they call it. The perch are all very stunted in growth because there's not enough habitat or nutrition for them.
Mhm.
But because they're not natural, they talked about a couple of different options that we could do, like they could do. And one of those was like tiger muskie, because tiger muskie are triploid, just because they're two different species
Okay.
together. So there's all these options. They're very eager to help us. But first thing we need to do, they said, is to amend that
Okay. That's another kind of
ordinance.
I know one other thing that was brought out in the meeting was that the last time that Fish and Wildlife did any survey in ocean shores was 2014.
Yeah.
And one of the other things he stated that was that city jurisdictions or jurisdictions that have fishing tournaments get an average of what was it, 1.3
$130 to $140 million in, you know,
Industry.
and
income.
yeah.
And Ocean Shores right now is getting zero.
Right.
And we used
Waters can't support
we used to
bass.
be on the tournament circuit, fishing
Right.
tournament circuit for Duck Lake, you know, years ago. So they would love to see.
They would like to see it restored, yes.
Okay, great.
But they just want to
Income.
find out if the
Yeah.
people of Ocean Shores is going to want it to be, their words were a fishery or a swimming pool. Because if it's a swimming pool,
Same thing.
there's no way they're not going to come out and waste their resources because they're very limited. So, but they want to work with us if we want to get it back to a healthy fishery.
And to be a healthy fishery, one of the things you said, it has to have a 40%.
30 to
40%
40% vegetation
coverage.
coverage.
Okay.
Now, he said that that vegetation coverage could be in our lakes, Menard and Duck.
Yeah,
The canals could be a lot less.
Okay.
yeah. He
And
said-
it would meet their requirements.
That's a big question you're asking the citizens. Do you want this to be swimmable water or do you want this to be fishable water?
Well, with the canals being cleaned up, the canals could be swimmable.
if they were fishable, they'd be swimmable.
Right.
So that's the key, right? If we can get the vegetation in, because if
It was
the
a good
fish are
meeting.
healthy, then the water will be healthy. They also have different resources for native plants that the different departments within Fish and Wildlife that can help if we allow them to help. But like I said, with limited resources, they're not going to give us a lot of time. So a show of faith was basically, they just basically gave us a task, and I think it's kind of a show of faith to see how serious we are to work with them. One other last thing I wanted to say was that they currently were at 5%. When they came out and did the survey, we're at 5% of the vegetation coverage. And we need to keep between 30 and 40 for a healthy fishery.
2014.
14.
I'd be curious what we are now.
But I don't think pennywort is one of the good ones.
Five.
Right.
Well, and then when he says that though, but when he says that, so when he says 5%, he's looking at good vegetation,
Mhm.
right? Healthy vegetation, not pennywort or elodia or these things that they are finding, they said that they're finding it really helpful to spot spray.
Yeah.
And that's what they've been doing and working well with some
Okay.
of the new. They also brought up, I'm sure that they're probably spraying with the same thing that maybe the company that we're working.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't know. Anyway, that's the report on those guys. It's a really great opportunity for the city to turn some things around. But they just want to see what we're willing to do first.
Yep.
So. Do we need to make a motion to do something or?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think we're good with that. I'll just, I'll send that language to the city attorney and ask for an opinion on it, and then if we have to change it, we'll just change it to.
Okay, good. Next item is the buoys and no wake marker, no wake zone signage. I handed out a map of the canals.
We just stop them.
And to preface this, I had a meeting on I forget what day it was, Monday, I think.
The same map is available online.
Pardon me?
Same map that's available online.
Yeah, but well, this one's been marked up though. I marked it up with some things.
Perfect.
I met with Sergeant Dan Fody and Sergeant Tony Vieira, but I forget it. And we had about an hour-long discussion about the buoys and there's no wake zones and everything else. And the end result of that meeting is that currently there's 13 buoys out there right now. They have different signage. And the police department has 4 buoys in the city yard. There is a residence at a dock that has 2 buoys tied to it. And they are gonna research why that is. So that's 6 buoys. And to complete what they want to do and what I would like to see done, and probably the group, is another 3 buoys added into the system. Now, the map I gave you, it's got black marks of where the existing buoys are. The red marks are the locations of future buoys and where they want to put them. And right now, they said that they're in the mode of that all the buoys need to be refurbished. They need to be cleaned up, new signs put on them and taken care of, because a lot of the signs are bad and everything else. And they're putting it on that work schedule to go out and do that. And I told them, I said, if you need help, I'll volunteer. And I said, I think we can probably get a couple of people to volunteer too, to come out and help you and get them out there and make it happen so that they're done. But if you look at the map, the major ones are, there's over by on Friendship Passage, there's nothing in between the lower part and the upper part there. Also where the boat launch is, where the islands are, there's none on the sides there. And Canal Drive, Grand Canal has got 2 buoys on it right now. One at Fishhook and then one at the passage to go into the Bell Canals. And there's one inside the Bell Canals. Their goal would be to add 4 more on the Grand Canal. Because people get by the one there and they think, there's no buoy markers. There's nothing here saying I have to go slow. So they just go crazy. And just to give you something on last Wednesday, they were out and they had confronted a boater who was speeding on the canal. And they stopped and talked to him. They gave him a warning, did an inspection and said, don't do it again. About 3 hours later, they got a video from somebody on the Grand Canal with the same boat speeding down the canal. So they went over and they arrested him and put him in jail.
Yeah.
So that got his attention. So that's what they're doing. And so with the addition of these, it should help. The other thing that they're looking at doing is they're going to pay more attention to the registrations of boats on the water. If they're on the water and they have an expired registration, they're going to get a warning. The next time they go by the boat, within a week or so, if it's not fixed, they're going to get a citation. Expired registration fines are like $250. So that'll get their attention too. So, and they're gonna start pushing that and working that. So they're getting more active on the waterway. They said, they haven't been out there the last couple of years, but now they're gonna be out there more often and doing the things that they should be doing and stopping people.
I heard they even ticketed somebody who was out of the water.
Really?
So
Okay,
they're looking at everybody
yeah.
on the water.
And boat accidents don't happen just on the water. I don't know if anybody heard on Grand Canal yesterday. Gentleman was pulling his boat down Grand Canal, went over the speed bump. His boat disconnected from the truck and crashed into a boat in somebody's yard.
Oh, my gosh.
So boat Jenga. So they were out there for a couple hours cleaning that mess up. So it was just something that it happened. So that's the information on the buoys and the signage. So it is gonna go to, I'm sorry, one other thing is there are signs out, like under the bridge that goes to Lake Menard over under Point Brown. There are signs on there that say 5 mile an hour zone. They're gonna be doing replacements of all the signs that say 5 mile an hour zone. They're gonna put no wake zones. All the canals are gonna have no wake zones.
That's the police department that's doing,
Pardon me?
that's the police department that's doing that.
Yes. Yep, and I think they were gonna talk to you some about the signage too, so where to get the
I'll
sign,
probably, yeah, have me order it.
so
And
that's what's going on. All right, we do not have any new business. So, pardon me?
To add to what you were speaking to, James. I went out on the 17th to the ecology department
Uh-huh.
in Olympia and met with Sean. Really nice. I had no appointment, nothing. I had to wait a half hour for him to be available, but that's what he does, is fresh water.
Uh-huh.
And he met it with myself, my wife, for as long as we wanted to meet. And he talked about them having grants available as well for freshwater plants. He also talked about this needing to be a long-term, which I think we've talked about too, a long-term legacy plan that goes beyond what we're currently doing and carries on, because people will come and go
Right.
on this board, so that there's a direction for what it'll be like in 3 years, 5 years, because he said he thought, what you're looking to accomplish is gonna take about 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
To get there in the long term with that, but they're available too. He said, told us they'd be happy to come out, answer people's questions, they do presentations. They have a specific gentleman here that actually does grant stuff. So could hook him up with the city. And because I understand the grant writer here. It just sounds like they're just like Fish and Wildlife, that we're taking some initiative to do stuff.
Yeah.
They're very pleased with the effort. And they'd like to assist us in any way that they can.
Yeah, that was the
Yep.
same general feel we got too. They're all on board as long as we participate.
If we're doing what we're doing right now, being active and being
Yeah,
Right.
proactive and looking at trying to make things better, we'll get outside outside entities to say, we want to help you then.
I
Yeah.
work with Sean's team on the freshwater permits and they are like above and beyond helpful. They're amazing.
yeah. I'm wondering,
That's the same feedback.
do they work with, like, so obviously they're not gonna work with, one thing that he said that really stood out, I feel like, to me anyway, it was that he was talking about, these guys manage fisheries and warm water, they call it the fresh waterways, fresh water in the state. And they were saying that, they have their agenda, everyone has their own agenda, of course, right? But then like the herbicide companies, they're trying to sell us herbicides. Their goal is.
They have an agenda.
Have an agenda.
They want to make money.
Yeah, they want to sell their product, but if we're looking at a long term here, we all know it didn't happen overnight. We didn't get it overnight. It's gonna take probably just as much time to turn it around. But if we have these people that are wanting to help, that do this for a living every day and are, understand the process, we should heed their advice, I think, as a city.
Yeah, like I said, Sean, you know, he didn't know I was coming. I had to wait a little while, but he cleared his desk. And I never got the feeling I was being rushed at all.
Yeah, that's how
I
Jeff,
thought this was important enough.
yeah, I've been emailing Jeff for probably the whole month, just back and forth, just, you know, little things here and there.
Okay.
They're very willing to move.
I guess I'll direct it to you two. So, because we're being told by all of these, state agencies that we need to make a decision on what exactly we want with our waters. Is that something that we need to present to the whole community, or is that something that our team makes?
And I'll let Becky feel
When-
this, because I know the answer.
When we had our town hall for the fresh waterways, that was part of what we discussed. And there's
Remember any of it in there.
yeah, so this is kind of segueing into my next topic. I might just go right
Yeah,
into
why
it.
don't you go ahead?
There you go.
The next item on the agenda is a discussion for the Fresh Waterways Management Plan. And we had the town hall before Herrera started it. And so when that management plan comes out, it's going to list what the priorities for the citizens of Ocean Shore said at that meeting. So that will be in there. I have seen a draft of it. It's really good. What I like the most about it is that it's easy to read. It's not a lot of scientific, like, things that you can't understand, which is really what I was afraid of, because they speak very scientifically.
Yeah.
But this report is great. It flows really well. It has the units broken out to let us know what type of treatments they are recommending for each different area. And, you know, it's anywhere from the chemical treatment that we do to nano bubbles to aerators. And it's also split low cost, medium cost, and high cost over the course of, like, if this is your low cost, if you want to do this over 5 years, this is your medium cost over 5 years, and your high cost over 5 years. And then also like low cost over 10 years, medium over 10 years. So they've got a really great breakdown. And they are also working on our storm rate utility, which that will fund fresh waterways projects as well in the future. So that is being updated. It's been quite a while for that one. But yeah, those are my updates for that. So I'm excited. I will have it to you guys before the next meeting's October. So I'll get it to you guys before. I think that we have a meeting on Thursday. And they should have it finalized. Yeah, they should have it finalized within 2 or 3 weeks after that, and I'll get it to you guys to see. And then we're gonna have another town hall with them. And they're also gonna present here. So it may be, I think here they're going to be presenting, because segueing to my next topic is the treatment of the lakes and canals for this year. And Herrera is hired to help project manage that, to make sure that our contractor, Aquatechnics, is doing everything that the city is really hiring them to do, because Herrera is the expert. I'm not the expert. So they're going to present at the end of the treatment this summer here at this meeting. So town hall for the big plan, and then treatment for 2025, they're going to do here. So also for treatment for 2025, Aquatechnics is planning to start the week of the 18th, and it's typically done within that same week. We haven't posted online yet. I just found out today that it's going to be the 18th. I have a treatment map, but I'm waiting for the SDS sheets to show what chemicals are going to be using and all of the information on that.
Can we put that on our Facebook page?
Yeah.
When you get
Yeah.
the information, you get it to us, we can put it up on Facebook page.
Who should I send it to?
You send it to.
Either of us.
Okay, when I send it to Nicole, I will send it to you guys.
Because we do have people on there asking.
Yeah.
Right now, we have over 200 people are signed on the Facebook site.
It is.
It's really good, because we're getting good questions on it too.
Yeah.
So it's helping.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Do they, Becky, did they work with Fish and Game on that? Because like Fish and Game,
Yes.
they sprayed that lake. So do they hire like a company like Herrera to go in and do that for them, or they have their own reasons?
Not Herrera because they're the consultant, but Aquatechnics or Northwest Aquatics, yeah, they would, I think that they're hiring it out. I could be wrong.
They generally make the city pay for that. Like if Fish and Game were to come in and spray for Elodia like they did up in that other lake here.
Yeah, they're not gonna do it for free. And I don't think they have applicators because you have to have an applicator's license also. So that's, yeah, I don't think that they're doing it.
So they would just say, this is what you need to do, and then the city would do it.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Are we going to be able to use that other chemical? And I don't know the name of it.
Procolor. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, we are. And we have Aquatechnics on board. Their contract goes through next year so that they'll be able to use the Procolor in the spring and not have to wait for the fish window.
Are we
Yeah.
doing Treatment, we gotta do a treatment now. Can we do one in
Yes.
April next
can.
year?
Yeah, and what we never knew that Terry McNabb from Aquatechnics told us was that Duck Lake isn't in the fish window. But the reason we treat within the fish window is because it's listed as Duck Lake and the canals. And the canals are within the fish window because they're not in the non-fish window where it's just listed as Duck Lake, right? Like the right hand's not talking to the left hand.
Makes no sense.
So I'm working to get the canals added to the Duck Lake section so that we can treat outside of the fish windows everywhere. Procolor is an outside of the fish window application already, so we can be doing that come spring.
That's great. That's what they sprayed in that lake too. That's.
Yeah, I
they-
bet that's what it was.
Elodia, the herbicide for milfoil, and they were saying that.
Elodia.
So, and-
Bro,
Yep, he's gonna be focusing this year for the treatment on Elodia, the milfoil, parrot feather. And he said that he's seen more curly leaf out here than he's ever seen. So they're also gonna be treating for curly
Are
leaf.
they gonna do all of the canals or just a portion of them?
So it's portions, but it's a lot more than what I've seen in the past.
Oh, good.
Yeah, the map will go out this week. I should have all of the information from him, and the red areas is where he's treating, and it's way more than I've ever seen. It looks like it's more of a full treatment than a spot treatment.
good,
Good.
very good. That's exciting.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Becky.
I'm tired of raking it up.
I have a row of it in my driveway.
I took a bunch of treatment this weekend.
Right.
Okay, next is the board member reports and canal inspections. Jeff's not here, so we'll skip over him. James?
My canals look great. The Bell Canal and North Grand Canal, really, I didn't see anything like that big soupy nasty nothing. I've been on the water twice since our last meeting, and the water by my house actually looks really clean. I don't have an aerator, but you can see all the way down all the weeds, but you can see it's clean. And as we were boating around, I felt like the waters were really good. So I don't have nothing to report on those two.
Yeah, I'll compare with it. I went and looked just yesterday. I went out and looked off the dock and then Orejo's Agua there. It's clean.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's nice that it hasn't been so hot this year. So it's really, I think that this will be a good opportunity this year to maybe get a jump on the spray because we haven't had a bloom in the heat. So hopefully it stays a little cool. Anyway.
Okay. I'm next on the North Grand Canal and North Duck Lake. North Grand Canal right now looks like the Grand Amazon Canal. There is so much milfoil and stuff growing up from the bottom. I've been out last week. I was out there for 4 days with a scraper pulling up stuff on the bottom and taking it over the green thing. And next day, there's still more growing there. So I mean, I know the treatment's gonna help a lot, but North Duck Lake looks good too. And again, looking off my dock, I have a decoy duck anchored to my dock with a white plastic line that sinks. And I can see the white line on the bottom of the canal. So, and I can actually see it from my kitchen window where it goes down off the dock into the bottom. It's getting pretty clean, and I'm using my aerator, so it's working for me. So. Jay?
Yeah, I did the south end of the Grand Canal, the fish hook, and what's not listed on here, kind of the south end of Duck Lake also, and everything looked good, you know, and they're saying, you know, stick the wood in and pull it out and it's all clear. So the only thing I'm noticing now, there's a lot of, I don't know what this stuff is, it's on top of the water right now, it looks kind of foamy and, yeah. So we're noticing that's coming up a lot, but beyond that, it all looks pretty good. And the only other thing I had is some people that asked me that live on the island and the road going into the island, I think that's Cormorant, isn't it? Okay, well, it's not really an island, that road kind of cuts it off, but all of on both sides of that, there's so much pennywort and other stuff that gets stuck there because there's no water movement. And what their question was is, I said, okay, I'll bring it up, but I know it's gonna cost a lot of money. But to put a culvert underneath that road to let the water move so you don't get, you know, all of that stuff just piled up there like crazy. So at any rate, that's out there, something to think about.
What area is that again?
It's on Cormorant, right as you go between Albion and Island Circle Way. And it's just, that's the only way on it. Huh? Right, right. But that, you know, I said, there's no way for that water to move because it's just stuck there under the road.
Circle Way in Albion?
Yeah, between Albion and Island Circle Way. Right down here.
Down here.
Mhm. Right down there.
Honey?
Put the bimini top down and went underneath the bridge and went over there to the middle part of Duck Lake. Actually, it looked really good. It looks very clear. No one has tested as far as, you know, the kits. None of us have done that yet, but we were told to kind of wait until we saw certain things. And so none of us are, because I've got all the kits, you guys, in case you didn't know that.
That's a good thing.
Okay. But it actually looked pretty good. And just to reiterate something Dave said, because I also have the aerators. For a while, I wasn't seeing good things, but all of a sudden I'm looking down and I can see clear to the bottom of it, even past my boat, which I could, and even with all the stuff coming up, I could still see the bottom of everything. I'm also noticing that we're having some stuff that's coming down from the north end. It always comes down from the north end, like islands of it. I'm not seeing a lot of that right now. I'm still seeing the green, some of the green foamy, but I don't think I know what that is, the green foamy.
I took a note to ask her.
Yeah, what that is. I don't think it's an algae though. It doesn't look like an algae to me. I don't know what it is. But I'm also not getting a lot more of anything growing. And I'm out there every day, you know, with the rake just for the feather stuff to try to pull it out, which it doesn't come out well with the rake. But I'm not seeing a lot of other stuff coming up right this moment.
Yeah. Janet?
Bass Canal, the only, off my dock, you can see about 1.5 feet into it, I think. A lot of growth.
Yeah.
It's like every day there's a new spot. Nothing floating on the surface. Didn't do a stick test because I saw nothing
Yeah.
obvious.
Okay.
And that's about it for them.
Jim, I think,
Unassigned.
unassigned. But I think your
But it looks
discussion on the call. That too, though, what you did was go into the Department of Ecology with that report too.
Yeah.
So that's good. On here, the fresh waterways map management units from Herrera been posted on the city site. Is that the one with the colors?
Yes,
Okay,
and it's linked in this, so
okay.
if they click the agenda, they can click on that link to pull it up as well.
One other thing on the maps.
Mhm.
Last week I went out to, the boat ramps, the parks, the South Park. The South Park's got the sign out right where you walk in. I put QR codes on the signs. I put QR codes up by the maps. And so QR codes are out there for people to scan them and get them in there. The other thing that I have to do, and the recommendation for the police department, is occasionally go out and test them to make sure they're doing the right thing. Because sometimes people will go out and put a QR code on top of a QR code that would give them to a spam site or something else. So, he said just to go out and test.
Good idea.
Yep. So.
Where did you put those out?
There's the big sign up there as the boat launches,
Uh-huh.
and it's got the map up there, and I put it up in the corner by the map. I was gonna take the sign down and take it apart, but those signs, somebody who built them to not take them apart. So it's on the outside with double back tape sticking up in the corner, but they are also sealed and laminated in plastic. That's it. Thank you. They were all laminated, so they're out there, and we'll see what happens. And I think it kind of start helping people see the stuff with if they want to scan the map or whatever, so.
Yeah, that's cool. That's on a Facebook page too, right? You
Yes,
also-
yes.
fantastic.
Yeah, the map's on our Facebook page. Yeah. Okay, next item, council liaison report. Richard Willis, so you're up.
I'm trying to, there, I don't have anything to report, but I do want to say that from what I'm hearing so far in this meeting, you guys are doing a great job, great start. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Richard.
Fresh Waterways Corporation.
Did you want to speak first or do you want me to? Sorry, I missed last meeting. As far as I did go back and listen to your recordings of your last meeting, and a lot of the things that you were talking about was some equipment that the corporation would have to assist you with doing that. So I would like to have a meeting with you guys,
Okay.
whoever wants to come, and discuss what our equipment is and how you can use it and what to do with it. So if,
I think we would like to discuss with you guys also on having a work party to do some cleanup, especially on Fish Hook.
yeah, that,
Fish Hook is extremely bad, that when you go down there, if your bimini's up, you're gonna scrape the trees.
yes, I recently took a tour on Fish Hook, so I know what you're talking about. What I'm interested in also is looking at Bass Lake, Bass Canal there.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in several years, and I don't know if anybody is willing to take me for a boat ride to Bass Canal.
I've never gone in Bass Canal. I've looked at going where you go into it, and I'm sorry, but I'm afraid to take my boat.
Well, I guess I would that part from the water park.
I have a kayak, I'll take
you.
We might be able to get a kayak
Get a
down.
kayak through there, it's that bad, because I haven't heard anything about Bath Canal in quite a while. So I'd like to look at that because I know that was also a work party that was usually done also. So that is also
I
something.
think either of us would be happy to take you. In fact, we were over there last week, I think it was. And I actually was tempted to go down, but I think I said, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'd like to take, because I walked out, well, you used to be able to walk out right to the corner, but last time I tried to do that, I couldn't see anything. It's hard to see. Yeah, it's all, yeah, I'm.
City laundry that needs to be maintained
Where?
on Bass Canal.
I don't think Bass Canal has a lunch.
There's no place.
There's-
You would have to go to the park to empty any derbies that.
To get into Bass Canal, you have to go in through the south of Duck Lake by Ocean Lake Way.
Oh,
And there's that little bridge there that Bass Ave.
yeah.
18 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very shallow and the bridge is very low. And
It's
my
exciting to go under, though.
playpen won't get underneath there.
And then, we could also, you're talking about the buoys. We have the equipment on placing new ones. And I do know from the older buoys that are the newer, older buoys that were placed last time, that was just a sleeve that was put over it. And
That's gonna be, I believe, the same thing, but they're gonna be heat shrunk around the.
yeah, these were not heat shrunk, so that will be, but are you going to need to pull them out of the
They
water?
are gonna pull them out because they want to take them over the yard for maintenance, for cleaning, maintenance and repainting.
Well, that's gonna be a problem. Because they have 2 5-gallon buckets
I
of
understand that.
cement. And so without using our equipment, they won't be coming out.
Yeah, well, we talked about that and I have a winch too that I could hook.
Well, on to, but anyway, that is something that, I would love to get with you guys and talk about what equipment and how we put, what was put in. There is a video out there on them putting the buoys in, if you can look at that, but just, there's a lot of things, the scan codes that you've done out there. We used to have a brochure that had the printed map on it, and it covered the advisory board of what it did and also the corporation of what it did. But it had the great map on there for people who don't do the scan codes. I have that thumb drive if you want to update it and put that out there.
I think
It's available.
I think what we did, the reason we went with QR codes is printing of paper and putting them out there on the boat launches and everything else is a time consuming process and it's an expense that probably doesn't need to be incurred if we can.
Probably be making some trash that would be.
Yeah.
picking up Also.
People
I never
probably,
see any trash of them out there.
yeah.
It's just that, not everybody takes the phone out there though.
Well, a lot of people nowadays have phones.
Well, it is true, but it's
That's
just.
that too right there.
Is that something that the Freshwaterways Corporation is wanting to do again, or you're just asking us? To
That
take
was
it?
actually through the advisory board that those were done. I was on advice, well, way long time ago,
Previous.
like way long time ago that
Okay.
it was created and then just updated each time. I think the last one who did any ordering for us was Alicia Bridge.
A while ago.
It was like,
No, that's not even a name I've heard yet.
What name?
Alicia Bridge.
Oh,
She was planner before Marcia.
Yeah, I mean, it has been quite a while and I don't think the Parks Board has theirs out there anymore either.
Well, I happen to have a copy of the Parks Board, and this is a very nice one. It cost them a flipping fortune to do these. But the nice thing is on the inside of it, it has the parks, the waterways, and it also has the QR codes. And it has the waterways map.
Do they have them at the boating launches?
No,
Yeah, these went mostly to hotels and businesses.
Convention Center.
And convention center, yes, is where
The
these.
convention center went
Well,
digital.
Well, maybe that is something that is an option for you, to look at what is already created, updated, put your QR codes and just put them at.
And there's no reason really to duplicate that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounds like we've already got it covered.
Yeah.
And we don't want to spend the money I don't think for something like this.
Yeah, there's no reason
Again.
to do the work again.
Yeah, exactly.
We want our work.
That's how I view it too.
and our QR codes that I did put out went to the police station and to the interpretive center. And I forget where else I stopped and dropped them off. I would stop in place and say.
The problem with having a meeting with us outside of this meeting to talk about your equipment that you guys are willing to offer us to, right, that's what we're saying, is we can't meet with more than 3 of us at a time. So if you want to have a conversation,
Well-
this is the place to have the conversation.
Well,
If you want to talk about it. I mean.
3 of us can meet with you.
3 of you is fine.
Okay.
I mean, chair, co-chair, and then,
Okay.
secretary to keep notes.
Maybe you can email us a list of equipment that you would offer and do it that way, and then we could look at it and see if it's equipment that we could even use or know how to use.
You can use it. Especially if you're doing tree trimmings and it's like,
So the
you know
corporate-
how to use the chainsaw.
So last time we got a update from Richard, he was saying you guys were doing a drive for members. Are you guys doing that, or that's not been discussed?
That's not true.
When was your meeting? Haven't had a meeting?
We haven't had a meeting.
So you have
I-
3 of you now or 4 of you now?
Or 2.
Okay. Are you going to try to expand it at all, or,
I would like to talk to you about that.
well, why don't we meet?
We need to.
Okay, we'll do that.
Please, may we meet? Please,
We'll do that.
yeah.
This is Richard. I want to chime in for just a second. And when Phyllis was just talking about the buoys, myself and John Carnes planted many of the buoys that are in existence out there. In our process, Phyllis is absolutely right. We use 2 5-gallon buckets that are about 2/3 full of concrete each, and we chained them together. Those buckets we put down and pulled back up to make sure that
John Reed.
they were placed right. But there were several buoys that are so firmly planted in the bottom that when we tied the buoy line to the pontoon boat with a 35 horsepower motor, we could not budge them. So I would be surprised if your winch pulls them up off the bottom. They're going to be a problem, and I don't have a solution. So I just want you guys to be aware that some of those buoys are going to be fairly easy. And the buoys that we planted, none of them have moved. But there are some other buoys that have just wandered around. I don't know, maybe the ducks latch onto them and drag them. I don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to put that out there.
You know,
Put a mooring, a buoy, afloat on the mooring chain and take the, just take
Drag
the
Yeah.
buoy off.
You know-
So there's a couple ways that they were talking about doing it.
yeah, they could be saying back to the yard to doing it because they don't have a boat to pull them up and work on it right there.
No,
And
he was talking about taking them out, not all at once, one at a time.
Yeah, because you only have,
Well, they got 4 in the yard. What their goal was, they said, was gonna be to take those out and replace them with
one at a time as they take one out. But with our work boat,
Yeah.
you'd be able to
Yep.
take it out and then put it back in. And then you're not gonna be dinging up anybody's boats.
Phyllis, I actually have that video. Maybe I'll post that to our Facebook page.
Go ahead.
Of
Oh, excellent, yes.
Them dropping the buoys. It's a few
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah.
But I have access to
3
the original,
years.
so I'll just-
Yeah.
I'll just post it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of equipment that we have that would make life easier for everybody, you know, and there is stuff that needs to be done.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll call you.
all right. That brings it up to public communication for public comment. Would anybody in the room like to make a comment? Yes,
I don't have a comment, but I was gonna ask a couple questions.
I guess so.
You mentioned
I can't answer you.
something the best, were you serious? It's only 18 inches deep going under that little bridge?
It's very low. I don't know how big it is.
How much clearance under the bridge?
Not for my boat. I've looked at it. I wouldn't even dare to try it.
We're not supposed to answer.
It's just a comment. We're not allowed to talk back with you and have
Okay.
communication.
Okay.
It's just it's
Okay.
a public comment.
All right, can I ask Becky a question? Or a second way to add laughter?
You can ask her after. Okay, anybody else? Yes.
I know we were concentrating on trying to take care of our fish. When we had the first or the older Fresh Waterways meeting, Phyllis, do you remember the fish that the lady that was there that had she went fishing and she took out one of those carps and they had this huge teeth?
Well, that was me, actually.
Oh, that was, okay.
It was, I found the jaws of a carp on my dock and I brought it in to show what the jaws of a carp looked like. I don't have it anymore. I garbaged it. I'm sorry.
I was wondering do we know how many different species of carp that we have in the Fresh Waterways? No.
Well, that is why we needed to capture a carp and send it to Fish and Wildlife for a DNA test.
We're addressing those.
Trying to get one, yeah.
No,
It's not that easy to
no,
get,
no.
in a different way.
We're working with Fish and Game.
Yeah, about the carp, yeah. I got, yeah, which is good.
And the DNA.
Oh, yeah, good.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
The other question that I have is, what about the ducks, the wildlife, the birds? And then also we have tadpoles that are in there, frogs, because they sing really good at night.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering, like when we start doing this stuff, will you do something to take them away? Because they are, no. they'll be
I'm not gonna do anything. I don't think, with the spraying, that's never been an issue with the animals
Yes, and
previously.
With the treatment, I don't know.
it is never affected.
Yeah, by I don't know, I mean,
That's a
I'm a, nope.
town hall when Herrera's there, and they'd be able to answer those questions better than ourselves.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments?
Yeah, yes, hello?
Yes, Don, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a comment. Regarding the CARP and the ordinance that was passed, I was at that meeting when the ordinance was passed, ordinance number 996. So I was very easy to look up some information. It was passed on March 27th, 2017. And I think you should read that ordinance and also read the minutes of that meeting. The ordinance itself makes reference in a whereas that the State Department of Fish and Game, I think that's the wrong name, no longer believes that grass carp provide benefits to the weed-free fresh waterways, and the State Department of Fish and Game therefore decided to allow bow hunting. However, the Freshwater Advisory Board has advised the City Council that the grass carp are an important part of their weed deterrence program and should not be hunted. So that was you guys that, or your predecessor.
Actually, no, it wasn't. That was the
I mean,
previous freshwater
this
waste
was-
board.
This was predecessor. I also want to take a look at the minutes of that meeting. There was a lot of discussion about it, and all I can see in the minutes is that the concern about liability for the city, and a lot of speaking in favor of the ordinance. So anyhow, it turns out that Lisa Grable was the one who apparently was the liaison. She introduced this ordinance, read it, and discussed it at the previous meeting during what used to be called future agenda items. So if anybody wants to talk to Lisa Grable, you can talk to her. But I remember it was a very, very, very emotional meeting. And now Andy might be able to help me on this. And I'm not really sure if this was regarding the carp or not, but I recall a meeting way back then when citizens brought in actually broken arrows and arrowheads. And Mayor Dingler passed them around the council and the citizens. And I'm not really sure if that was a carp, but it could have been. Maybe Andy remembers. But anyhow, this is going to be a little bit different, a little bit harder than you might think. And I'd certainly take a look at the history of it, maybe even talk to Lisa Grable, because she's the one who proposed it to go on the agenda at the previous council meeting during the future agenda items, and it actually got passed at the March 27th, 17. And anyhow, maybe Andy remembers that. My memory is fading, of course, and maybe he recalls that. But I remember those broken arrows being passed around. It was a very emotional meeting. And of course, the ordinance was passed to block the hunting of carp. Those are my comments. I don't have any issue with either way, but that's just the history of it. It was easy to find. I just did it while I was listening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I have all the meeting. I have all the meeting minutes. You guys are curious about that meeting and the agendas,
Yeah.
what the ordinance was prior to, and what the ordinance was changed to. I have all that available. If you guys want me to email it to, I'm happy to do so.
Yep.
I'd love to see that.
All right.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah. Any other comments? Okay, our next meeting is scheduled for Labor Day, which is a holiday. We will be rescheduling that. That meeting will not be rescheduled. It'll be canceled. And our next regular meeting will be on Monday, October 6th at 2 p.m. here in the library meeting room. And I motion for an adjournment. Anybody? Second?
I'm good.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned. Have a nice day, everybody.
Thank you.